Working in a crisis teaches new and better ways of doing things, just as it did with Undp-Wrc, and just as it is with our innovators joining us today. We must use new ways of doing and ways of life and allow us to grow, become more efficient and more cost effective so that we can deliver more for less, more water and sanitary infrastructure for less capital expenditure and operational costs, and to a broader range of consumers. We must think out the box, but not forgetting what's still in the box in the first place, and aim for excellence throughout. The Department of Water, besides its own commitments, would like to encourage other partners to support and invest into supporting the solutions developed through the WADA and SASTI platforms, which I highlighted at the beginning of the presentation, to facilitate sharing and scaling and uptake of technological and innovative solutions developed to solve the urgent water and sanitation challenges in South Africa, working with innovators together with the implementation of partners and funding. The Department of Water and Sanitation commits to work with water services institutions on the uptake and implementation of technological and innovation solutions relevant for specific locations and municipalities. We need to look at innovation financing and delivery models to provide services more effectively to both rural, peri-urban and informal communities and those that are unserved at the moment. Indeed, there is a need to adopt innovative delivery models, institutional models, and revenue models to ensure more effective progress in service delivery. The Department of Water and Sanitation encourages the sector to join the Water Research Commission in implementing a COVID-19 wastewater-based surveillance program. This includes providing samples, testing data, and funding of the nationwide phase, and innovations demonstrated through the innovation platforms beyond COVID-19 to further mitigate the challenges of our water sector. The Department of Water and Sanitation also continues with its policy and decision-making position in terms of supporting innovations that need to be improved, developed or implemented, and the plans to align to technical innovation trajectory. We currently have a technical knowledge centre at the department, which we're revisiting and reviewing to try and encourage innovation to be promoted and to provide guidance to the sector as to how innovations can be taken up. And that will be revised over the coming months. Ladies and gentlemen, as I come to my conclusion, for the 7 innovators that are here today, we thank you so much for your forward thinking and your visionary towards appropriate solutions. It is these men and women that have applied their water and sanitation technical expertise to help and resolve some of South Africa's water and sanitation technical challenges. The COVID-19 pandemic, tragic as it is, has brought out the artists in them to be creative and to improvise solutions for the betterment of our people, just like it did with Undp-Wrc. The Department of Water and Sanitation acknowledges the great achievements that are being recognized today and will support these innovations in ways that I've highlighted to gain take-up by the marketplace, so that there is an opportunity of becoming a key player in the water and sanitation services delivery business, which all of us are here today and are striving for perfection. I thank you for your engineering excellence and your creative imaginations, and I wish you all the very best moving forward with your ideas. Thank you very much indeed. Back to you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Mark, for that very encouraging message of support. Colleagues, we're now moving to the innovation round of the program, and I'm sure many of you are looking forward to hearing what the innovative solutions are about. I was part of the process, so I have a good understanding of what the innovations are, but I'm still super excited to hear about the innovations a second time. And you'll notice that two of the innovators have the same name, Joash, but I promise you their name had nothing to do with the selection process. And this round will be facilitated by Dr. Valerie Naidu, who is the Executive Manager for Business Development and Innovations at the Water Research Commission. Valerie, over to you.
Thank you. I think we come to the exciting part. So I hope the candidates are ready. A little bit nervous, maybe. So let me take you through the process because it was very rigorous, right? We started this process, and I think firstly, thank you to both the UNDP colleagues and the WRC colleagues because this was done in record time. The approvals between both organizations, the MOUs, the call, which closed on the 3rd of September. We're now in November. That's pretty quick in terms of a call, a selection where we received 36 applicants, the first screening, and then we shortlisted the applicants. Now, I also want to thank all the people that were involved in the selection. I counted there was 11 different organizations. So that's pretty rigorous. That's all our water sector partners, state-owned entities, water boards, DWS, Innovation Hub. So we had such a range of partners involved in this process. So I hope that you understand how important it is in the sector that people actually take the time to be part of the innovation process in the water sector. So the way I see it is, you guys went on a first date and you got selected for the second date. And today is the second date when you're going to be pitching. So you got to do a really good job of pitching. And in the next 3 to 4 months, the UNDP teams and the WRC teams are going to work together to try and get you to the stage where hopefully there's a buyer out there that's going to buy your tech. And that's what I call the marriage then. So what you're pitching today is going to be a really important pitch. And I want to once again say to you, you got 5 minutes. And those 5 minutes, you got to be quick, short. You really got to convince the colleagues here, as well as the virtual audience out there, that your technology is the technology of the future. So without any further delay, I'm going to call the first innovator, which is Green Gold Technology, Mr. Joash Govindsamy. And he will come in and pitch for 5 minutes. Remember, we will stop you at the end of 5 minutes, so you got to be really, really good at pitching concisely. Thank you.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I am Joash Lazarus Govindsamy, the founder and director of Green Gold Technology. And we aim to farm happy, healthy, delicious fish that's sustainably produced and environmentally friendly. And this is just, and we've come up with an innovative filter. And basically, it's 3 tanks. So our first tank contains the fish. And as you know, when fish grow, they produce protein in the form of biomass. But they have byproducts such as carbon dioxide and waste. Now, in conventional aquaculture, this wastewater is then pumped into our rivers and our oceans, causing major ecological damage. However, with our technology, we use a microorganism called phytoplankton. So what are phytoplankton? Phytoplankton are basically microscopic plants. And just like plants, they remove the carbon dioxide, converting it to air, and they use the waste from the fish as a fertilizer to grow, forming biomass. So now we have water that is stripped of this waste and is oxygenated that will help the fish grow. So the thing is, with this technology, it's very hard to remove the phytoplankton from the water. So commercially speaking, it's quite intensive to remove it, even though it's so good that you can even feed it to your fish. So what we found is our third tank. So the water flows from the fish tank to the phytoplankton tank, and then finally to the zooplankton tank. And there's a bit picture of what zooplankton looks like. It's like microscopic crustaceans. So what they do is they feed on the phytoplankton. And the best thing about the zooplankton is they exhibit the properties just like phytoplankton. So they have all the nutritional goodness, especially if you want to feed it to your fish. So you're cutting the cost of your business by 40 to 60%, making aquaculture far more viable as a business option. And the best part is it can be easily removed with a sieve, a fine net. So our company has removed most of the major bad things associated with aquaculture. And right now, our company we produced a prototype, and now we want to pilot test thanks to the UN and WRC. And there are no companies, to our knowledge, locally or globally, that are using this symbiotic method to farm fish. And our target market are scalable systems that are sold to farmers. That means households can have micro-farm systems at their home producing food for their families. The fish produced from these farmers can be sold to the market, and the feed in the form of the phytoplankton can be used to feed the fish to grow more fish. So how is this relevant to COVID-19? If you put on your news, it's not hard to imagine global unrest, malnutrition, and riots. But with our technology, we can increase the food security and water security of our country. Let's look at beef farming. Beef farming takes 8 pounds of feed to produce just 1 pound of meat, plus 4,000 liters of water. Compare that to fish farming, it just takes 1 pound of feed to produce 1 pound of fish, and our water is lost only through evaporation. So with our technology, we have employment opportunities, skill development, and the best part is families can work at home. So right next to the market, they can juice the fish, they don't have to go out to the ocean, they don't have to use trucks, so our carbon footprint is greatly reduced that way. So at Green Gold Technologies, we take the famous saying, you give a man a fish and you feed him for a day, you teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. But we take it one step further. You teach a man to farm fish and you feed him not just for his lifetime, but for the generations of lifetimes to follow after him. Thank you. Hope I was in the 5 minutes.
Well done. Thank you, Joash. So he's hitting at the heart of the problem here, right? Sustainability, but also food security. And his pitch was very good in terms of what he's trying to tackle. In South Africa, for example, aquaculture is fairly new, and this can actually help in terms of taking the industry forward. We're now going to move on to the second presentation, which is Ms. Philippa Davies, and she's from Trapsutkis Environmental. And she's going to tell us a little bit about constructed wetlands. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Philippa Davis, and I'm from a small MPC focusing on water in the Klein Karoo. Sustainable Development Goal 6 is central to our functioning. We focus on the nexus between wastewater treatment, water conservation, and community development. We're also working towards SDG 17 through partnerships with entities such as the local municipality. So wastewater treatment in Southern Africa is not effective. Upgrades are usually costly, resource intensive, but necessary due to higher hydraulic loads. Our target market is rural small municipalities that are struggling with compliancy towards the Department of Water and Sanitation. And we want to also address the Water Research Commission's target of 75% of treated wastewater to be reused by 2025. So our innovation is located at the last stage of the Duiselsdorp wastewater treatment works, which is also known as the contact channel. The aim of our project is to ensure that treated effluent released into the system does not degrade the system further, but also but more so to investigate local economic opportunities on site. So if you look at the image, effluent enters the system at the bottom left of the image, and it follows a snake-like pattern until it reaches the chlorination channel at the top left. Ideally, we would want to minimize chlorination due to the impact it has on soil and river health. We have 2 water quality sampling sites located at the inflow and outflow just before chlorination. The green depicts what we have done up until now, which is construct approximately 90 bulrush floating wetlands, and the yellow is what we are planning to do. So in August of 2019, we sourced bulrush from a local farmer and established the wetland. We have 3 workers that are employed to perform maintenance on the float and the vegetation. And through observations of bulrush root growth, we saw the need that we needed to incorporate, or we needed to mimic the substrate of a natural wetland to improve the treatment capacity. So this is our innovation, which will be in the first lane of the contact channel by adding approximately 30 additional floating wetlands and filtration cells. The filtration cells will be plastic drums with holes filled with either gravel or reject bricks, and the floating wetlands will probably be constructed from PVC pipes, which is in the municipal supply chain management system. In October 2020, we launched 2 prototypes comparing the 2 substrate types. The prototypes are still in the contact channel, and we are planning to remove them in early 2021 to investigate which substrate will be best suited. So a constructive, mutually beneficial relationship with the local municipality is essential to the success of our projects. Through a collaborative sampling approach, we sample for the same parameters that is needed for Department of Water and Sanitation compliancy. And we believe by adding to the passive treatment capacity of our wetland, we will improve the results further. I have to add also that there are many challenges working with local municipalities, but we believe that those can be solved. Here you can see the orthophosphates, and the results has been good, but we are hoping that it will improve. And we are also adding heavy metal testing to our testing schedule to ensure that there is no heavy metal buildup if the treated wastewater is used for irrigation. So in short, this research and development project adds a layer to the work that Trapsikis is busy with in normalizing the use of low-cost hybrid wastewater treatment systems. Thank you.
Country, we do have eutrophication issues, whether it's in our water bodies or in some of the ponds that are around the country. So getting this as a business and then getting the performance right is critical to the water sector and protecting water resources. The next person to present is from HydroBlue, and it's Mr. Joash Kiston, the Joash 2. And he's going to be speaking about the data-driven borehole placement system.
Okay, good day everyone. Thank you for this amazing opportunity. So my name is Joash and I'm one of 2 directors at the HydroBlue company. HydroBlue is a predictive AI software solution that is used to determine the best suited locations to drill boreholes, not just within our cities, but within rural and remote regions as well. So it's a predictive system and it's created to enable hydrogeologists to make data-driven decisions. So the company was founded by Professor Randhir Watlal and I, and it was founded, like I said, to improve the accuracy of borehole drilling. And as you can see in South Africa, about 70% of our population is dependent on groundhole water supply. And the average cost to drill, according to our research, is about 100,000 Rand. And the challenge is that the majority of these boreholes drilled actually the water access is not fit for human consumption. So when we collected data from various sources like the WRC, like the Borehole Association, the Water and Sanitation departments, we found that the actual data set showed that only about 10% is actually functional right now in South Africa. So in total, we've identified about 12,000 problematic boreholes. And if you look at an accuracy rate of even 25%, it's a total loss in investment of about 1 billion rand. Now, we believe that modern methods of geospatial data science, machine learning, and artificial intelligence could significantly increase this rate of accuracy when identifying these locations to drill. So the system developed uses, what we've done is we've taken hydrogeological indicators and environmental indicators, and we've taken the outcome of borehole sites and borehole projects, and we've plotted them on a map to see what are the different hydrogeological indicators and what was the outcome. We then applied machine learning classification algorithms to identify patterns of behavior. So in essence, what environmental indicators lead to sustainable boreholes and what do not. So like I said, the machine learning algorithm was developed, the model is developed, and our accuracy rate is currently sitting at about 80%, depending on the region that you are currently looking to drill a borehole. So just to go a bit more into the technological innovation. So we took these different environmental sets, and what we've done is we've overlaid them onto a map, and we then converted them and integrated them into a single database that machine learning algorithms could be applied to. So in essence, what we've created is a big data mathematical model, and then we've applied these algorithms to identify what patterns of behavior lead to what. And as you can see, some of the machine learning algorithms we used are listed there. So it's things like your KNN nearest neighbors, it's your artificial neural networks, your Bayes beliefs. And like I mentioned earlier, the accuracy prediction is around 80%. So it's much higher in cities. It's in the rural areas and remote regions, it's about 70 to 75%. But that still is a significant improvement on what is currently happening. So we're looking to actually commercialize the system through a pay-as-you-use approach, where we're going to say to companies and water parastatals, we will keep 10% of the total project cost for every location that our system accurately predicts. Now, when we looked at the data and what's available in the past couple of years, there were about 35,000 boreholes that were drilled in sub-Saharan Africa. And we are saying that if we just get 2% of that market that our system is used on, for 85, with the 85% accuracy, it's about 600 correct predictions, which then translates to about 60 million rand for the parastatals. That's a collective return on investment, and a total income to our company of 6 million rand a year. Now, the image on the left has been updated since I did the first presentation. So this is an early screenshot of our prototype system. So what we found is the best way in these remote regions is to query the system by X and Y coordinates, so that your latitude and longitude. And what it will return is it will return all the environmental factors and values. This will enable hydrogeologists to make that data-driven decision, and then it will predict the outcome. So it is a machine learning model, and over time it will only increase its accuracy. Okay, so our investment and support to date, our basic research was supported by Undp-Wrc. So we engaged them and their local hydrogeologists there. Then we also have the prototype development that's been funded by the Technology Innovation Agency. We've been a part of the Amazon Credits program. We also part of the Space Tech Challenge, and most recently the WRC. Our achievement so far is we've been a part of the AI Expo Africa and the Innovation Summit this year. So just in terms of this program, what we actually are hoping to do is further upgrade and develop the system to identify sites and locations with excessive nitrate. We're also looking to demonstrate the prototype to local parastatals and water organizations, and basically get some traction there and basically create a better user interface. We're also looking for access to additional data so we can roll out and create further components. Thank you.
Slow it down, and we need to get the social distancing and the cleaning of the mic going. So we're gonna make sure that is done. The next speaker is from Human Life Designs, and she's Miss Elizabeth May Peterson, and she'll speak a little bit around groundwater phytoremediation. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you. I'll have my glasses on for that. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm here representing the Klipdale Groundwater Phytoremediation Project, which is a citizen science project of Human Life Designs based in Klipdale, which is a small village in the Overberg district of the Western Cape, deeply rural. Phytoremediation is a proven water treatment technology that is commonly used to treat wastewater, sewage systems, mining, and other industrial wastewater. However, it is a technology that has not been applied to the cleaning of groundwater. Groundwater in South Africa remains a vastly untapped resource, and the most common technology that people who can afford it use to purify their groundwater is reverse osmosis, which RO technology, which has some drawbacks in that it is incredibly expensive to buy and to maintain. It is a high energy technology, and it also, probably most importantly, is not environmentally friendly, as there is a highly toxic byproduct from the technology. So at our site in Klipdale, which is focused very much on sustainable development and sustainable living in a rural village, we did not want to go anywhere near RO as a technology to clean our groundwater, which, like most groundwater in South Africa, is brackish and laden with chloride, nitrates, phosphorus, boron, and other elements. So instead, we started looking at the possibilities of phytoremediation, connecting with researchers all over the world, and learning about the plant species and what was happening here in South Africa. We decided that we needed to launch a project for our village, and this just happened to dovetail with the outbreak of the COVID pandemic. I think that without any doubt, one of the most heartbreaking fault lines exposed from the pandemic was that people could not just simply wash their hands with clean water. So this is a graphic representation, a model of what could be. We're looking at starting on the research, but with an end in sight that there could be a light, low-cost, low energy, and most importantly, environmentally solution that could be deployed in rural communities where municipalities, let's face it, are highly unlikely ever to deploy a technology such as RO. Something along these lines. As a model, could be deployed at schools, it could be deployed at community food gardens, it could be deployed at small scale of farmers, and yeah, that's our vision, that's our goal. So just to give you a brief outline of our team, to be clear, we are all citizen scientists. We are women-led. Our founder, Sarisa, is our visionary and our sustainability innovator. Along there, you'll notice Warren, who is part of our team. He is a local member of the community in Klipdale, currently unemployed, and it's an example of how our project intends to, as it unfolds, use the human resources available to us. And we have been very fortunate to have two great scientific advisors come on board with our project, which obviously we need as we do not have formal scientific training. So Lumka comes in. She's currently deployed on a WWF water project in a community right near us. And we have Victoria, who is based at Kirstenbosch Gardens, who brings in the botanical expertise that we need. Oh, I'm going forward and back. Okay, so where we are at the moment is that we are currently about to go forward with the testing of 4 plant species to clean our particular groundwater, and this is going to be an on-site research project. But at the same time, we will be testing seawater in a greenhouse environment using the same plants. And the reason for this is that I think, desalination is going to be part of the future of South Africa's ways of solving our water needs. And at the moment, once again, technologies like RO are used for that, and we wanted to break some ground on just at least testing the plants that we are already testing with seawater, and to see if we could add some value to finding out whether or not phytoremediation actually has applications as we move towards desalinating seawater on a large scale in South Africa. Our market opportunity, well, we all know that our need to unlock the sources of fresh water are urgent already. Because we believe in sustainable development, we would love to be part of seeing that happen in a low-cost, low-energy and environmentally friendly way. Our project is of interest to government departments and agencies at national, provincial, local municipal levels, to development agencies and non-government organizations who are supporting sustainable development and socio-economic development in our rural communities. And we believe that the relevance of the technology we are going to study and take forward is of importance both nationally and globally. So thank you very much.
I just want to recognize Minister Blade Nzimande, who has just joined us. A round of applause, please. So, colleagues, so far we've had a set of very exciting pitches. I think the last one spoke about phytoremediation. And I think when we talk about sustainable solutions, we definitely want to go there around the decentralized solutions. For the team that's developing the solution, the critical aspect is going to be affordability. And then the operations and maintenance, and how do communities actually maintain these systems. So that is going to be the bigger challenge, I would say, going forward. But very exciting, and I hope you succeed. The next speaker comes from MagnaClear Limited, and it's Mr. Wayne Boyes, and he'll be speaking about his magnetite technology. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, Minister. Thank you very much for having us here, and thank you to the WRC and UNDP for this opportunity for all the candidates. So I'm just going to be speaking about MagnaClear water purification systems. So MagnaClear is a small company with in-depth knowledge of mechanical and chemical engineering in the water treatment field. We've developed a revolutionary water treatment process that works with magnetic ballast clarification to efficiently remove solids and fine particles from water. MagnaClear can provide a rapidly available, affordable and reliable water treatment solution for use in both modern as well as unsophisticated environments. The MagnaClear water treatment system is compact and can be easily transported and connected to operate on various sites. It can be added to existing technology, or it can be done as a standalone unit. So the operating principle works with polluted water with a high turbidity flows into a reaction tank containing magnetite. Standard water treatment polymers are used to flocculate the polluted water. A magnetite is added to this. The flocks are then removed from the water by permanent rare earth magnets. And the magnetite is returned to the reactor vessel, and the treated water is decanted. Here's a cartoon sketch of the operating principle, where the mixing tanks is filled with contaminated water. There's a contaminated water particle. We add the magnetite particle to the mixing tank. We dose a polymer, and this is all mixed to create a flock, a magnetic flock. This magnetic flock then is moved to the magnetic separator. The magnetic sludge is then moved to the right-hand side, as you can see. The effluent water is decanted, and this magnetic sludge is then sent to a shear mixer. This shear mixer shears the magnetite from the sludge, and the magnetite is then, the waste is sent for disposal, and the magnetite is regenerated and put back into the system. So MagnaClear is an inexpensive solution to quickly implement a water treatment technology which is adaptable to a variety of processes. Our technology can remove clays, salts, oils, metals, grease, organic and inorganic wastes. MagnaClear is a novel design, and we can remove suspended solids as well as dissolved solids from water, which is a big problem in this country. So the MagnaClear has a short lead time, about 12 to 14 weeks, in which we can build a unit. We have a small footprint, ease of operation and maintenance, low capital and operating costs, quick results, we can test online, low energy usage, we can do a high throughput due to we don't need settling time. It's road transportable and skid mounted, so it's modular in design, we can quickly add more units for more flow. It has low maintenance, and it is corrosion resistant, so especially for the acid mine drainage waters and that. Here's just some tests showing some of the testing that we've done, where we take the turbidity from greater than 1,000 to less than 1. And just some more testing with the acid mine drainage, which we've done at the top, which we remove some heavy metals, but another thing to note is the sulfate reduction by up to 60%. We can also treat process cooling waters and remove algae. Here's some test results and performance, and the total suspended solids on average is reduced by 99%. Commercial comparison, we can handle a high concentration of contaminants, unlike conventional other processing. Magnetite is recycled and regenerated, and the MagnaClear system can handle upsets in flow, so increased flow through the process or not. This technology is quite versatile, and we have been treating rivers and dam waters, acid mine waters, industrial process and waste waters, raw waters, and mineral processing waters. MagnaClear removes fine particles such as metal precipitates, organic solids, inorganic solids, clays, silts, algae, dissolved metals, sulfates, and phosphates. What makes it different to other technologies is that we can push a high volume through this process, and no settling time is needed. Development status, we have a demo plant available for test work, which we have been using. The pilot scale engineering has been done already. Now what we will do with this funding that we've acquired, we shall build a pilot scale test unit, and this will be the technical demonstration to show and prove this process on a larger commercial scale. This technology is quick to install, and it's to provide potable water, drinking water, to communities. The technology is skid mounted and built very quickly. It can be deployed in areas with no electricity, as it can be solar powered. The amount, I think it's 10 kilowatt, is used on the whole unit. It's cheap to run, and viruses attached to magnetite. The target market is the rural communities, municipalities, private companies, and mines. Thank you. Here's just a picture of the pilot plant.
Wayne. The next speaker is from Absorb Technologies, and it's Mr. Daryl Phillips. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for the opportunity to present our innovation. It's called the Biological Carbon Bag, and it was designed for the purpose of a low-cost, simple bioremediation solution. So simply put, a biological carbon bag is a shade cloth bag filled with activated carbon that is made from sustainable pine wood through an activation process. So the question is, well, you can also see that the cost is 270 Rand, and when we get to the, let's say, the effectiveness, you'll get an idea of its cost effectiveness. It is installed by way of a buoy and basically floated in raw water sources like dams, rivers, even tanks or reservoirs. So how does activated carbon work? Well, simply put, pine activated carbon specifically has a capillary structure that is 10 to 20 microns that suits the hosting of bacteria, which are anything from 0.2 to 2 microns. And how it works is that the activated carbon adsorbs or attracts pollutants in the water, specifically organic pollutants. The organic pollutants act as the food, and that stimulates bacteria growth. And then what happens is you create a biological factory that basically doses the water with bacteria that do the water treatment work. We've done 5 trials in different areas, and I'm just going to focus on 2 of the trials which are the most promising. So the first one was an irrigation dam at a school. You can see that we installed 4 bags, just note, 4 bags, roughly 1,000 Rand's worth of carbon bags. And over 90 days, we managed to achieve a fecal coliform reduction of 97%. We saw a nitrogen reduction of roughly 62% and a total organic carbon reduction of 63%, so relatively effective. We then trialed another dam. You can see the eutrophication in the top left photograph. Here we installed 5 bags, also over a 90-day period, and we achieved a 81% fecal coliform reduction, and most importantly, a reduction in nitrogen of 91%. That was something really interesting. So the target markets are contaminated raw water. Though the contamination can be sewage, it can be persistent organic pollutants, and I'll just highlight, let's say, pharmaceuticals. Obviously, with COVID, there's a far greater pharmaceutical load that's hitting our raw water bodies. Fertilizers, detergents, and even heavy metals. Interestingly, it's not the bacteria that, let's say, treat the heavy metals, but in this case, it's the activated carbon. Our other target market is grey water. So there we're targeting detergents and a cost-effective way of treating your grey water. So the development status is that we've completed the proof of concept stage. We've begun rolling out, but it's very slow and reliant on early adopters. And the next step is to better quantify the efficacy so that we have a clear value proposition to market. The aim of the technical demonstrations, which we've received funding for, is basically we're going to continue the 2 most promising trials, the one at the school and one at the golf course. And we want to understand all the entire value proposition, from work rate, volume of water that can be treated per bag, cost of treatment, and obviously the seasonal impact and any limitations. And thank you very much.
As you can see, some very interesting technologies that are coming to the fore, driven by SMMEs and entrepreneurs. And so our final speaker for today is from NTech, Mr. Mark Langton.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for the opportunity to present to you. Ntech is a company that supplies one very simple piece of equipment, and that's a floating aerator on a sewage oxidation pond. Why we believe Ntech is important in South Africa's future is that you've all seen the press releases, you've all heard about existing sewage treatment plants all over the country, mainly in small municipal areas that are basically defunct, that are not working. And the problem is that over the years, sewage treatment plants have just become more mechanical, more compact. We believe this has been a mistake. I think consultants have sort of felt that the more mechanical items you put in and the more complicated you make a sewage treatment plant, the better it works. But we've seen that's not the case. If you have power outages, if you have theft of cable, just all the mechanical breakdown of pumps, you have problems. So basically, Ntech's gone back a few steps and is basically looking, whoops, apologies for that, at a very simple system called a facultative sewage treatment process. And what you can see on that picture there, those two ponds, that is a complete sewage treatment process. It's as complicated as a wind-driven turbine. So those two units you see on the pond there are wind-driven turbines that basically circulate the effluent through that pond and in that way oxygenate the effluent. So there's no working parts. Basically, it's wind-driven. The effluent, the sewage effluent comes in, goes through the two treatment process, a primary pond and a secondary pond. And the effluent, a fully treated effluent, comes out the other side. And you can see, so the operating staff required on this plant is pretty much one guy who arrives every few months to have a look and mow the lawn and watch his sheep grazing on the side of the ponds. That's pretty much all the staff that you need. As I said, you can see this was a press release not so long ago. Over half of SA wastewater treatment works are failing. And I've shown that little diagram in the middle there that basically shows you the technicality in a modern sewage plant. It's got thickeners, it's got clarifiers, it's got settling ponds. It generates sludge. One of the big problems is you generate a waste-activated sludge and you have to deal with that sludge. You have to take it, compost it, or to take it to dump site. With our system, there's none of that. Our ponds self-digest the sludge. There's absolutely no desludging required. There have been systems operating for 20 years without any desludging. And as I say, basically there's no operating cost and no maintenance cost. So, as I said earlier, that because these systems are so simple, they can be retrofitted in existing municipalities. You could put a number of plants. Instead of having one centralized sewage treatment plant, you can put 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 of these around a municipality to treat different areas. That picture on the left-hand side shows a pump station that's obviously the pump has failed, so sewage is going into the local river. If you rather just put one of these very simple sewage treatment systems at the end of that line, you can just have a separate plant for that. So as I said, one of the important things of this process, because it's a facultative process, the pond is fully oxygenated, so there's absolutely no odor. Literally, you can go up to the pond itself and you can't smell odor, so odor-free. You can locate these plants within a few hundred meters of settlements because of this odor-free operation. requires only occasional operator attendance, literally 2 or 3 times a year. You pull that unit to the side, you grease a bearing, you push it back out into the middle, and that's it. Very importantly, no sludge digestion. You don't have to treat waste-activated sludge. And then the most important, as we all know, the final effluent quality. Basically, this plant produces water that a conventional or effluent that a conventional waste-activated sludge plant will treat. As I said, what's been happening over time is that these plants have become more and more complex and therefore tend to break down more and more. So what I want to do as NTEC, and I believe very strongly in that, is that if we can have a very simple sewage treatment plant, we can solve the problems that current sewage treatment systems are having. But what we can do as well is develop an agribusiness on the back of that. So there's, it's done around the world. You can take a high quality sewage effluent and you can either start an agribusiness for nurseries producing plants, or food production, feeding schemes, and you're creating employment opportunities. And I think very importantly, the same guys that operate the feeding scheme and growing vegetables can actually operate the plant, because as I say, it's a case of a couple of times a year greasing a bearing and watching the sheep grazing on the side of the ponds. So the Undp-Wrc award proposal of ours is that we are finding a plant in South Africa that where we can easily manage the process. What we're going to be doing is retrofitting a unit, one of these floating aerator units, onto a pond that we can get good, consistent effluent quality. And then the funding that we've been awarded will be used to financially compensate a micro entity, a black empowerment, or a broad-based black empowerment agri-business that will be built up around that plant. Thank you.
So I've been told by the program director I have only 5 minutes. So we'll wrap this up, but I think before wrapping it up, are there any questions either from the virtual platform or even from the audience members for the innovators? Nothing. Any questions? Okay, so we've been told that the audience members will probably engage later while they having a few drinks and eats going forward. I think from me, just final words, I think the critical component is the driving of the business model in a space like this. And I think if we are to solve especially the issue of services, pollution reduction, and getting some of these technologies on the ground, we have to get to the space of affordability. So that means you guys have to think creatively, not only around the tech, but around how you're going to roll it out. And therein lies maybe some of the new thinking that needs to come in terms of you taking some of the tech forward. And I think with that regard, the UNDP and the WRC will be happy to continue to support you as you think around some of those solutions. So thank you all. I'm going to now hand over to the program director.
Thank you so much to Dr. Naidu for facilitating this innovation session. I'm sure you all noticed how excited she got when we were talking innovations. And secondly, thank you to our 7 innovators. I'm sure you'll agree with me that they all delivered excellent presentations, and we heard about some really, really fascinating innovations. So yes, thank you. Let's give them another round of applause. Thank you. Colleagues, I'm now going to call upon DDG Imran Patel to introduce our keynote speaker, the Honorable Minister Blade Nzimande.
And like everyone said, congratulations to the innovators. Hope to see how these progress over the next few years. It now gives me great pleasure to introduce my minister, the Minister of Higher Education, Science and Innovation. I think it's quite important. A few people have been saying science and technology. It takes a long time to rebrand, but we are the Department of Science and Innovation, and the Minister is Higher Education, Science and Innovation. That's especially important for this activity where innovation is seen as part of our way out of our developmental challenges. Dr. Nzimande was appointed Minister of Higher Education, Science and Innovation on 30th of May 2019. Prior to that, he was Minister of Transport from February 2018 to May 2019. And prior to that, he was the Minister of Higher Education and Training at its inception when the Department of Education broke up into the Higher Education and Basic Education for a period of 3 years from 2014 to 2017. Most people are also aware that he's the General Secretary of the South African Communist Party, Chairperson of the Parliamentary Select Committee on Education, Deputy Chairperson of the Central Committee of the South African Communist Party, and Chairperson of the Financial Sector Campaign Coalition. Dr. Nzimande holds a doctorate in philosophy, specializing in sociology from the University of Natal. He did indicate to me that I should keep it brief, so without any further ado, Minister, we would welcome your keynote address.
Thank you very much, Mr. Imran Patel, our DDG in the Department of Science and Innovation. Let me start by greeting the Deputy Resident Representative, Gabriel Davar, the Acting DG of the Department of Water and Sanitation, Mr. Balza, as well as the Acting DG of the Department of Environment, Forestry and Fisheries, Mr. Isham Abade, the CEO of the Water Research Commission, Mr. Desigan Naidu, and all distinguished participants, especially our innovators. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for inviting me to address you on the occasion of this august event this afternoon, as we celebrate the 7 innovators that accepted the challenge and put forward their ideas on how to address the water challenges facing our country. In our country and the continent at large, water-related challenges are huge and they are wickedly complex. They are part of the currently what one can call the fourfold global crisis that we are facing at the moment. Water cuts across all this. The first one is COVID-19. The second crisis is the deepening economic crisis, which is both global and domestic. The third is multiple crises of challenges of socio-economic sustainability, for families, households, and communities. And the fourth real crisis is climate change. When the water delivery issues are being addressed, new challenges arise in wastewater treatment that also affect the ecological state of the receiving environment. Then there are the nexus issues of energy, food, and water. For instance, agriculture uses 62% of our water resources, yet 30% of food produced is wasted before leaving the farm. When we address our country's energy challenges, we sometimes forget that water is integral to the production of energy, and at the same time, energy is vital to the delivery and treatment of water and wastewater. I think with these presentations here, they illustrate this very well. To address these interrelated challenges that impact directly on the well-being of our citizens and our environment, we need a more holistic, integrated national plan, co-developed by government departments, academic institutions, civil society, labor, and industry. Our white paper on science, technology, and innovation for South Africa, which was adopted by Cabinet in 2019, highlights the increased focus on innovation by government, which is why, as Imran was explaining, our department has changed from science and technology to science and innovation, because government wants to emphasize not that technology is less important, but we want to emphasize innovation. Amongst the policy intents with this white paper is to adopt a whole-of-society approach to innovation, which is why what Water Research Commission and UNDP are doing today is so important, that we are able to mobilize ideas and innovation. And part of the reason why Jessica and I accepted this is because I'm a great believer that innovation is everywhere. Innovation is everywhere. So it's important that we create platforms to access it like we are doing today. Now, this, of course, whole-of-society approach improves inclusion as well as increased linkages across the national system of innovation. Global change remains as a significant challenge to be addressed, and the circular economy has been identified as a new area of growth for the country. Circular economy is no more relevant than in matters dealing with water and sanitation. I mention this because water is integral to addressing all these areas in the context of one of the driest countries on the planet. Water security was identified in the National Advisory Council on Innovation foresight exercise as a basis for a thriving society and economy. Water, although not explicitly in economic recovery plans, is the fulcrum on which our economy will turn. A secular approach to using all our resources, including water, will not only aid in economic recovery that is greener and more climate friendly, but potentially contributes also to a just transition to a low carbon economy, which may address the inequalities in our society. Decentralized systems for water, as highlighted in the NACI Foresight report, are one such means to bring decent services to the most marginalized communities in our country. Water is life, sanitation is dignity, as we say. Our Department of Science and Innovation has, through a long-standing partnership with the Water Research Commission, sought to address the challenges of the water sector. In 2014, our department entered into an implementation partnership with the Water Research Commission for the establishment of the Water Technologies Demonstration Platform, WADA. This partnership has realized 30 demonstration projects addressing water savings, wastewater treatment, and water quality, amongst others. WADA is now in the ideal position to be used as a technology accelerator to create technologies for marketing. For this to happen, government needs to enable the deployment of innovative technologies by the public sector. That's why, by the way, our white paper also talks about the establishment of a sovereign innovation fund, so that we are able to mobilize resources, not least from our own patents that are commercialized, to be able to get money to fund our R&D system as well as our innovation system. Our department has initiated discussions with the regulatory department, which is the Department of Water and Sanitation in this regard. But we may need to expand this to include the Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, especially when we hit municipalities. The Water Research Commission and the South African Local Government Association, SALGA, recently established a technology and innovation platform, and WADA was identified as having an important role to play in accelerating relevant and appropriate innovations and solutions to solve some of the most challenging problems to marginalized rural and urban communities. As we know, water can be an inclusive mechanism, or it could be an exclusive and discriminatory mechanism. So it's very important that we work on technologies that promote water and inclusiveness. A key challenge we face in our country is that whilst our written policies on water are very advanced, I don't know how many countries, even China for that matter. China, they say 20 years ago, they came to South Africa 25 years ago to learn about a whole lot of things which they are doing much better than us now. But they admit that they learned those things from us. We are very advanced in terms of our policies, but actual transformation and implementation still remains relatively weak. That's why such initiatives are important. We also need to move decisively to ensure that we significantly change the water license dispensation, which continues to be heavily skewed towards apartheid-era beneficiaries. That we have to address. Our department, DSI, working together with the Water Research Commission and other players, remains committed to strengthening our national system of innovation to play its role in the management of our water resources. We are also acutely aware that we need to link our water resources to a just green transition with the development of water and sanitation technologies that meet the desperate social needs of our people. It's very important also that we link the management of our water resources to the presidential district development model, so as to ensure that people's participation in this regard, as well as fostering and supporting grassroots innovation in the management of our water and sanitation programs. People's participation is also very important, and science has got a crucial enabling role in people participation. We must never forget that. That's why I always tell people we can't separate science from people. Now, at this juncture in the water innovation landscape, it is time to talk about a one government approach to addressing our water challenges. This means all relevant departments need to come together and plan for 2030 to reduce the impact of the projected 17% deficit in our supply to meet projected demand. But it's not only whole of government or one government. As I have said, we need a very dynamic partnership with industry and academia and civil society, and harness ideas broadly in society. Within the DSIs, that is Science and Innovation Ecosystem, we have the Council for Scientific Research and Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, and the Technology Innovation Agency, both with the capability to address the water challenges within the national system of innovation that is more inclusive in its approach. Our department has also partnered with the Water Research Commission on the implementation of the National Water Research, Develop and Innovation Roadmap in 2015. This is government's determination, but we are aware that as government alone, on our own, we will not achieve this. But government has got a very important role to play. Now, in an increasingly data-rich world, the sharing of data also will provide for strengthened decision-making to improve the lives of citizens. Imran, this also relates to open science. It's very good that we are sharing these things openly, and I hope also we are sharing the original data and information. Also, open science is going to be very important in addressing many of the things that we are talking about. Through the water roadmap that I've referred to, our department is funding the establishment of a community of practice in water-sensitive design to train municipal officials in the topic in order to improve planning for our urban areas. Urban areas designed with water-sensitive design principles will lead to improved water management and contribute to lowering that 17% deficit we are going to face in 2030. Water management practitioners, water scientists, and so on have got very important insights that should help us to design better environments. Although this may not be water, but there is nothing I hate. Well, I'm being self-critical because I'm part of this government. Like a row of RDP houses that are being built in the middle of nowhere with not a single tree. Now, water people are much more conscious about the whole environment, by the way, because water is a source of a whole range of other things. So it's very important also that you recognize your own contribution goes beyond just narrowly water. I encourage the sector, therefore, to join the Water Research Commission in implementing COVID-19 wastewater-based surveillance program and innovations demonstrated through its innovation platforms beyond COVID-19 to further mitigate the challenges of our water sector. Early next year, the National Research Foundation will be announcing, this is good news, 2 new South African research chairs for the water sector, which is resource economics and economic sustainability of water services. To reiterate, the focus on economics is simply because water is an economic good and should be at the center of economic development with the same importance as energy. These 2 SACI chairs will contribute to the sustainability of the water and sanitation sector, as they will place us on the road to improve cooperative governance and service delivery to our communities. Ladies and gentlemen, water is a finite resource, and the manner in which we are mismanaging it on a global scale or local scale means that it is becoming increasingly more expensive to provide potable water to communities. I would therefore, at this gathering, like to emphasize that water security is a priority for our own 10-year plan, which we call the decadal plan, between 2020 and 2030 of the Department of Science and Innovation. We have elevated this issue very highly. And we want to address it through partnership with a whole range of entities. Department of Water and Sanitation, Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, Local Government Association, Water Research Commission, SANBI, the CSIR and TIA, as I have said. We are acutely aware that we won't be able to achieve our goal of inclusive economic growth and development if our water supply is constrained. We need collaborative effort across all stakeholders, an innovation compact between government, business, labor, as I have said. I must also say that water innovation not only addresses water challenges, but creates SMMEs, small medium enterprises, and jobs. WADA has a track record for demonstrating water technologies, but now needs proper partnership to scale the offering and get these technologies to market. Our department is also ready to cooperate with the Department of Water and Sanitation on the Water and Sanitation Master Plan as part of the economic recovery of South Africa and to bring dignity to our people. I therefore commend this partnership between the Water Research Commission and the UNDP and the courage to initiate the Water Innovations Challenge Awards. This will go a long way in restoring the dignity of those who were historically marginalized and did not have access to clean water and sanitation. Furthermore, this initiative will assist the country in realizing our 2030 agenda and the Sustainable Development Goals. It will be a delight to me if the technologies that are recognized and awarded today could be upscaled and be absorbed as well at local or municipal level, particularly using the presidentially led district development model. Our department and the Water Research Commission and other partners should establish and continue to support and invest into existing effective networks, partnerships, and support instruments to facilitate sharing, scaling, and uptake of technological and innovative solutions. Let me take this opportunity, therefore, to congratulate all the innovators. I'm sorry I couldn't listen to all of you, but the last three that I had, very interesting. Also, it was even simpler to a simple man like myself, who doesn't understand some of these strange concepts, but the way you explained it simply with the diagrams, I'm gonna come out of here a slightly better educated person on what you are dealing with. So congratulations, well done. I also wish you well for future engagements with all the stakeholders through your innovations. I also wish to thank the UNDP for its support and partnership. Thank, of course, the Water Research Commission. To the UNDP, this should not be the only call for innovation or partnerships. As we are aware, we have many challenges ranging from education, energy, food security, amongst others. It would be good to see innovation and technologies that are meant to address these challenges not end here, but should continue and address other challenges other than the water challenge. I'm looking forward, a few years from now, some of these presentations here having become very significant and big role players in our water technologies. With that, well done everybody, and thanks for the honor of inviting me to be part of this. It might seem like a small and peripheral gathering. To me, it is not at all. It is very important because it's out of such platforms that great things do come out. Thank you very much. Ngiyabonga. Ngiyaleboga.
So much, Honorable Minister, for such an inspiring keynote address. Colleagues, we've now come to the part that I know the 7 innovators have been waiting for a very long time, and that is the awards that you will be receiving from the Honorable Minister in a few minutes. Simone, if you could just assist me over here. And for this part, I'm going to request that the Honorable Minister joins us once more on stage. I'm also going to ask the WRC CEO, Mr. Desgan Naidu, and the UNDP Deputy Resident Representative, Mr. Gabriel Daba, to join us as well for the award ceremony. And innovators, I'll be calling you according to the schedule or the order of your presentation. So if you could please come up and receive your awards when you are called. I think we could move this out of the way. Oh, sorry, I didn't see it. Okay. So let's start with green gold technology, Mr. Joash Govindasamy. If you could come forward, please. Ms. Philippa Davis from Trapsukis. Mr. Joash Kiston from HydroBlue. Ms. Elizabeth Peterson from Human Life Designs. Mr. Wayne Boyce from MagnaClear. Mr. Daryl Pips from AdSorb Technologies. And lastly, Mr. Mark Langton from NTech. For a photo. Yes. I've just been requested that all innovators should join the Minister and Mr. Desigan Naidu and Mr. Dava for a photo session, please. Maybe we should be done here. Might better. Let's do that. Thank you so much, and congratulations once again to our 7 innovators who were selected following a very, very competitive process. Well done to all of you. You should be feeling very proud of yourselves. Colleagues, we are now almost at the end of our program, and I'm now going to ask Simone Smith from the UNDP to close and give the vote of thanks.
Thank you, everyone. It is my honor to give the note of thanks this afternoon. So firstly to Minister Nzimandi, DGG Patel, Mr. Naidu, DRR Dava, Dr. Naidu and everyone else who's been involved, thank you for your attendance today and for your contributions to this event. To our extraordinary innovators, thank you for taking part in this challenge and for being with us here today. We are extremely excited about the impact that your solutions are going to make. To the team at WRC, it's been an absolute treat to work with you. Thank you so much for all you've done. To Manjusha, Zama, Zanandi, Tobile, Sarah, Tiani, Kosi, Klengiwe, Tabo, and Aking for making this project a reality. Thank you to my colleagues at UNDP for your support on this project, especially our communications team, as well as my Accelerator Lab colleagues Evan and Clariska, who I believe is joining us online at the moment with her newborn baby. And finally, thank you to our guests who took the time to join us today in person and virtually. As Mr. Naidu said, we hope to expand this program, bringing on extra partners and supporting further innovators. So if you're interested in our work, please do get in touch with us. You can reach us at wrc.org.za or za.undp.org. And with that, we hope you and your families all keep well and have a blessed festive season ahead. Thank you very much.